welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Thursday, November 15th, 2018. I'm going to read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here. Hope you've had a good week so far. As always, there's lots going on in the markets this morning. So with that, let's get straight into today's video. If you know me, then you know I always start my videos off with a look at the Russell Index. And for that, I use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000. And I like to step back and take a look at it on a 5-year monthly time frame. I know this gets so repetitive, but I think it's really important to understand how the Russell's trading and the major indexes to understand where we are right here, right now. So instead of making these videos super long and going through all the indexes, I choose the Russell as I deem it to be the most rate sensitive. So this is the one that I study the most. So we're looking at the 5-year chart, monthly chart, IWM monthly candles, as we've been talking about, hit this low back in early 2016, picked up the blue line, which is our 8-day EMA, and has been in this beautiful uptrend since then. Having said that, as we've been saying, the candle for the month of October closed below my 8-day EMA for the first time since that beginning of the trend in early 2016. We almost did it here, but not quite. Not quite here, not quite here, but very definitely here. So for me, this is a big red flag. To me, the markets are now in a downtrend at support. So you've got to sort of get your mind around that a little bit. So uptrend over the last several years, but now the market is trending lower. Will it hold here? Who knows? We'll see. But it's just important to understand this area in the chart, all the chop and consolidation that happened over here. Will it lend support on this side? We will have to see. So that's the monthly look. Let's take a look at it on a 1-year weekly. So look how price is behaving right around that purple line that we drew in several weeks ago. So here's the closer view, same area of support resistance, same purple line, our blue 8-day EMA. As you can see, price is trading below the 8-day EMA on the weekly chart. We're trying to establish some support here, and the futures are looking pretty green this morning, so we will get a positive start to the day, but it's all about how we finish. So I'm being extra cautious in this area. For me personally, I want to see this 8-day EMA pick up a bullish candle here at support. So I want to see a bullish candle that starts to lift the market in this direction. So the next few days will be important to the candle for the week. So far, not looking so good, but we will see. As I say, we're getting a bit of a green open this morning. So that's the weekly look. Let's go take a look at it on the daily. So here we are, purple line. We're getting a strong start to the day. So is this the beginning of a swing higher? So low here, consolidated, and are we getting a higher low? We'll just have to see how the days go in the next few days. But it's below the 8-day EMA on the daily chart. So my rules say I'm not going long anything until this is up and over the 8-day EMA on the daily chart. So I want to marry the index up with my chart. So I don't put these videos out very often, Tuesday and Thursday. So if we do get a positive day today in the markets and we get a nice bullish candle that does take us through the blue 8-day EMA, then I am going to flag for you an old Chart of the Day Cafe pick that is worth taking a look at. On Tuesday, just to review, we flagged Vail as one that would possibly lift, and Vail is still looking good to me. So we put the video out here. Vail had this price action. This was Tuesday. This is Wednesday. So I think Vail still looks good too. I would want to see it move up and over that blue 8-day EMA, but as you know, I always screen very carefully for fundamentals. So I still think Vail looks pretty good. You can go back and view Tuesday's video where I put out all the scores and stuff. But this morning I'm going to feature another Chart of the Day Cafe pick, or past pick. And the chart that I wanted to Refeature for you this morning is UPS, United Parcel Service. They trade on the New York Stock Exchange. We're looking at the 5-year monthly chart. Before I get into the chart, though, let me tell you a little bit more about the company. I'm sure everyone is familiar with UPS. It's one of the largest parcel delivery companies in the United States. You know me at Chart of the Day Cafe. I'm all about the scores underneath my charts, and UPS has a really nice high value score, along with a forecasted earnings growth rate of 18%, a current PE of 14.43, and a dividend yield of 3.32%. All the things that I love to see in a chart. So let's go back to the chart. We're looking at the 5-year monthly. You can see that it consolidated for a number of years below my orange line of support resistance, broke above it in the middle of 2016, kind of hovered around there for a while, took off through the latter part of 16 and late 17, early 16, late 17, and then in 18, as we all know, 18's been a bit more of a choppy year, but look where it's sitting here. It's off support and might be starting to establish a little bit of a higher high in this area. So we'll see. That's the monthly look. Let's go take a look at it on the weekly. So here's the 1-year weekly. UPS was our Chart of the Day Cafe pick here, Green Circle Day. We talked about it here and here. This is why I love the blue 8-day EMA, because when it closes below, whether it's weekly or daily, see you later, goodbye. You're not hanging around for this kind of stuff. So originally featured it here. Looks to be teeing up here. It's all about what the market wants to do, as we talked about in our Tuesday video. I think 80% of stocks trade with the market, so should the markets lift here, UPS looks pretty good to me on this weekly chart. It is below the 8-day EMA, but it might be starting to catch it soon. We'll see. So that's the weekly look. Now let's go take a look at it on the daily. 6-month daily, up and over the blue, which I like to see. So we're forming a little bit of there was a low here. We're getting a little bit of a higher low here, and it looks like it wants to lift. Earnings are not until February, so they're past earnings. So should the overall markets have a positive day, I'd be looking for UPS to follow with it and perhaps have a positive day as well. So now I'm going to really zoom in because I want to show you, I think if you're a regular viewer you know already, but I use this 3 and 8 as my trigger. So I like to see price up and over the blue, which is the 8-day EMA, but then I like to see the pink cross the blue. This is a perfect look to me, this candle right here, where it engulfs the pink and the blue, and it shows me a bullish candle. Love that. So I would be looking for that kind of candle over in this area. As you can see, we already have a 3 and 8 cross, but it's not enough. I need some follow through. I need a bullish candle that shows me real conviction. So UPS is one that I will be keeping an eye on today for that bullish looking candle. Along with the chart I'm looking at, I also like to take a look at the sector that it's in. So for that, we're looking at IYT, 5-year monthly chart. I want to note that since I started filming this morning, the futures have turned negative. So they're no longer positive, they are negative. So you want to be extra careful here because as we talked about, we had that bearish candle for the month of October. We want to make sure that this area of support holds. So we're looking at IYT, which is the ETF of the transportation sector, 5-year monthly chart, like UPS, in an uptrend since 2016, early 16. Traded flat through much of 18. Again, these are the monthly candles, but you can see that it's in an area where it had support in the past, these dojis over here, and the lift that we saw after those. So will it be able to hold support in this area? We'll just have to see. But that is the sector ETF and how it looks. The other thing I like to do is spin over to Equity Clock, which is an amazing site. I really like this site. It's one of my favorites. And check for seasonality on the chart I'm looking at. So we're looking at the seasonal chart for UPS. You can see that it's got a very positive back half of the year. So this is a good data point to know, probably with all that e-commerce and home delivery going on. No guarantee that happens again this year, but always a good data point to know. The other thing I like to do is spin over to FinBiz and see if I've got analyst support for the chart I'm looking at. And UPS has had 2 recent downgrades, so you want to be aware of that. For me, price prevails, price and fundamentals and chart action. So I want to be aware of that, but if it starts to have a lift in the next couple of days, this won't get in the way for me, but it's just a good data point to know. recap, let's go back and check our boxes. I started today's video with a look at the Russell Index, and we note that this is not, I'm not checking this box. The market is no longer in an overall uptrend. To me, it's in a downtrend, so it needs to prove itself by lifting off this area of support, which we haven't seen it do yet. So we want to be super, super careful. So not checking that box. We looked at the 5-year chart for UPS, and we can see that it's up and over an area of support and in an uptrend with possible price strength continuation coming in again. Emphasis on possible. It's all about what the overall markets want to do. We looked at the sector chart for IYT, the transports, and we note that like UPS, it is at an area of support and may want to lift here. Again, emphasis on may. UPS has a good value score. It's got a good growth score with a forecasted earnings growth rate of 18%. These two are highlighted because they're absolute musts for me. It's got a current dividend yield of 3.32%. It has, as we showed on the chart, it's got a 3 and 8 EMA daily cross, but it's just emerging, and for me it needs follow through. So it's all about what the markets want to do today, tomorrow, and the follow through that we get. It is in seasonal favor. We looked at the seasonal chart and analyst support. I left that unchecked because it's had 2 recent downgrades, so you want to be careful about that. It's got a current PE of 14.43, and it looks as though their next earning date is in February of 2019. Thanks for watching today's video, and have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday.